Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna. So dear devotees, we will be reading one verse from Srimad Bhagavatam today. Canto 4, chapter 30, verse number 8. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Varam Vrinidvam Bhadram Vo Yuyam Me Nripanandana Sauhardena Prithak Dharma Tushtoham Sauridena Vaha Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Varam Vrinidvam Bhadram Vo Yuyam Me Nripanandana Sauhardena Prithak Dharma Tushtoham Sauridena Vaha. Synonyms. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, Varam, benediction, Vrinidvam, ask, Bhadram, good fortune, Vaha, of you, Yuyam, you, may, from me, Nripanandanaha, O sons of the king, Sauhardena, by friendship, Apritak, non-different, Dharmaha, occupation, Tushtaha, pleased, Aham, I, Sauhridena, by friendship, Vaha, of you. Translation and purport by our beloved founder Acharya, Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajaka Shtottar Shata Shri Srimad Abhay Charana Aravinda Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shri Vishnu, said, My dear sons of the King, I am very much pleased by the friendly relationships among you. All of you are engaged in one occupation, devotional service. I am so pleased with your mutual friendship that I wish you all good fortune. Now you may ask a benediction of me. Purport. Since the sons of King Prachini Barisha were all united in Krishna consciousness, the Lord was very pleased with them. Each and every one of the sons of King Prachini Barisha was an individual soul, but they were united in offering transcendental service to the Lord. The unity of the individual souls attempting to satisfy the Supreme Lord or rendering service to the Lord is real unity. In material world, such unity is not possible. Are you listening? Srila Prabhupada is saying, in this material world, such unity is not possible. In the material world, such unity is not possible. What unity? The unity of the individual souls attempting to satisfy the Supreme Lord is real unity. In the material world, such unity is not possible. Even though people may officially unite, they all have different interests. In the United Nations, for instance, all the nations have their particular national ambitions, and consequently, they cannot be united. Disunity between individual souls is so strong within this material world that even in a society of Krishna consciousness, members sometimes appear disunited due to their having different opinions and leaning toward material things. I'm going to read this sentence again. Please listen very carefully. These are Srila Prabhupada's perfect words. Disunity between individual souls is so strong within this material world that even in a society of Krishna consciousness, members sometimes appear disunited due to their having different opinions and leaning toward material things. Actually, in Krishna consciousness, there cannot be two opinions. There is only one goal, to serve Krishna to one's best ability. What is the only one goal in Krishna consciousness? Yes, to serve Krishna to one's best ability. If there is some disagreement over service, such a disagreement is to be taken as spiritual. This disagreement is taken as spiritual. Those who are actually engaged in the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be disunited in any circumstance. This makes the Supreme Personality of Godhead very happy and willing to award all kinds of benediction to his devotees. Srila Prabhupada is saying, if we are united, this makes the Supreme Personality of Godhead very happy and willing to award all kinds of benediction to his devotees, as indicated in this verse. We can see that the Lord is immediately prepared to award all benedictions to the sons of King Prachandas. So this is the prayer of the Prachetas. The Prachetas, this is from the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. The Prachetas are the 10 sons of Maharaj Prachandas. And before they became the next kings, their father sent them to the forest to do bhajan, so that they become purified. Because to become kings, there is a lot of power to be the king. But with power comes responsibility. So to make them responsible, to make them proper rulers, bona fide rulers, their father said, first you go and do tapasya. So they went, and when they went to the forest, because they were sincere, they met their Gurudev. Who knows who was the Gurudev of the 10 Pracheta brothers? Vaishnavanam Yatha Shambhu. Yes, Lord Shiva. So they meet Lord Shiva, the greatest Vaishnava. And he gives them the Rudra Geet, the beautiful song of Lord Shiva. And he tells them, you just chant this prayer over and over again. And they do it for thousands of years. Together, unitedly. When devotees come together and they unitedly chant, what is it called? Sankirtan. Sankirtan. Krishna Varnam Tisa Krishnam Sangopangastar Parshadam Yajnay Sankirtan Prayer Yajantihi Sumedhasa. The intelligent Sumedhasa people in Kali Yuga will come together and they will worship Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu through Sankirtan. Sankirtan means to come together and perform devotional service together. That is called Sankirtan. So they did Sankirtan and Krishna is very pleased with them. And he says, he appears there and says, ask for any benediction. I am very pleased with you. And Srila Prabhupada in this beautiful purport is explaining to us the importance of loving relationships between devotees and cooperation and being united. So that is the topic for today. The topic is, what is the foundation of these relationships between devotees in Bhakti and what is the future? So what is the foundation? So let me ask you a question. All of you on a Sunday afternoon have come here to the ISKCON Atlanta, the Hare Krishna temple, right? In front of Shri Gaur Nitai, Radha Madan Mohan, Jagannath, Baldev Subhadra and Srila Prabhupada. All of you have come? Agreed? Not just in body but even mentally, everybody is here? Okay, now let me ask you a question. Why did you come? Did you come to hear from me? How many of you have come to hear from me? How many of you have come to hear from me? From Ādi Gadādhara Dāsa, the great speaker, like Srila Prabhupada was introducing. If you have come to hear from me, say Hari Bol. Hari Bol. Today I am going to talk about Hollywood movie. How many of you want to continue sitting here? No. Okay, let me talk about Bollywood. How many of you are interested? I'm going to talk about politics. How many of you are interested? Nobody is interested? But it is the great Ādi Gadādhara Dāsa speaking. Nobody is interested? Very good. You should not be interested. Because this is not about me. We have come here to hear about Krishna. So what is the foundation of our relationships? Yes, our relationships are centered around Krishna. This is the International Society of Krishna Consciousness. It is not about any of us individually. Jivera Swarupa Krishna Nitya Das. We are simply servants. Naham Vipro Nacha Narapatir Napi Vaishyo Na Shudro Naham Varni Nacha Grihapatir No Vanastho Yatirva Kintu Protyam Nikhila Parma Ananda Purnamritabdher Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayur Das Dasanu Dasa. We are simply the servants of the servants of the servants. So it's not about us. Our relationships, our life is centered around service to Krishna, to Guru and Krishna. That's why we have come. If I talk about mundane topics, all of you will leave. Actually, you will not leave. Vedasar Prabhu will tell me to leave. Vedasar Prabhu will tell me to leave. Why? Because this is Society of Krishna Consciousness. So what is it that unites us? Is it our ethnicity? Is it our language? Is it our religion? Is it our economic status? Immigration status? Political views? What unites us? It is Krishna. It is Srila Prabhupada. It is our Guru and Gauranga who are uniting us. We are united on the platform of Krishna consciousness. This we should be clear. If our relationships are founded on the firm foundation, strong foundation of Krishna consciousness, service to Krishna, what will please Krishna, then our relationships will be very strong. For relationships to work, we have to remember certain sutras based on our scriptures. One is, we should be trusting. We should trust each other. We should be trusting and we should be trustworthy. Hare Krishna. It is not fair to expect that everybody will trust me and we are not trustworthy. We have to be trusting and we have to be trustworthy. Number one. Second point is, we have to be caring and we have to be considerate. If someone is caring for us, we should be considerate. Oh, this person is so caring. And we should appreciate their help. So we should be trusting and trustworthy. We should be caring and considerate. So now let us delve into our Shastras and see how this is so. Let us go, we will go through Satyayug, Tretayug, Dwapar and Kali Yuga. Okay? Satyayug. In Satyayug, we have the story of Dhruva Maharaja in the same fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Dhruva Maharaja simply wanted to sit on the lap of his father. And what did his stepmother do? What did Suruchi do? She chastised Dhruva. She humiliated him. She broke his heart and said, "Don't you dare touch your father. You have taken birth from the womb of Suniti, your mother, and she is inferior to me. Therefore, you cannot sit on your father's lap." Suniti and Suruchi were co-wives, and this is what Suruchi told Dhruva when he was just a 5-year-old boy. Can you imagine the emotional turmoil, the emotional trauma that Dhruva must have gone through? He was heartbroken. But fortunately, he took shelter of Krishna. And Krishna made him the next king. Krishna gave him the kingdom and made him a pure devotee. Years later, when the son of Suruchi, Uttam, for whose sake Suruchi had chastised Dhruva, when that Uttam went to the forest, he was attacked by some yaksha and he was killed. What did Dhruva do? Dhruva did not say to his stepmother, "Well, mom, too bad, you lost your son. I guess it's just destiny, it's karma." No. Dhruva was very heartbroken that his half-brother was killed. And he went and he fought with the yakshas. He fought with the yakshas to avenge the death of his brother Uttam and to give some closure to his stepmother, Suruchi. So you see how Dhruva was very, very trustworthy. His stepmother could really trust him. That even though there was such a crisis, he did not abandon her. He did not abandon the dharma. He fought for his half-brother. So that's what we learn, that we have to be trusting and we have to be trustworthy. There is a very touching and very instructive story from Ramayana also. Lord Ramchandra, when he was exiled to the forest, he happily accepted it. And he very happily gave the kingdom to his brother Bharat. You be the king, I will go to the forest. But it was only for 14 years. After 14 years, Lord Ram was supposed to return. But what did Lord Ram do? First he sent Hanumanji. For what? To go and speak with Bharat and give him the news that Ram is returning with Sita and Lakshman. And Lord Ram specifically told Hanumanji, look at the facial expressions of Bharat. Because the face is the mirror to the heart. If you notice that Bharat has 14 years have passed, if Bharat has become attached to the kingdom and he has even slight hesitation in giving it up to me, just let me know and I will not come. I will not come to Ayodhya. We will let him rule. And Hanumanji came, he told Bharat, and Bharat was ecstatic. Bharat said, today was the last day of the 14-year exile. If you would not have come Hanumanji today to give me the news that Sri Ram is on his way, I was going to end my life. I was going to jump in the Sharayu river and end my life. Hanumanji immediately came and informed Lord Ram. Don't even have second thoughts. In fact, if you delay, Bharat will give up his body. Please come and take over the kingdom. You see? So much love and trust is there between devotees. This is a real relationship. We come to Krishna Leela. In Krishna Leela, there is a story that once there was a lady and she used to live her life by simply begging. And it so happened that for 3 days, nobody gave her any madhukari. So she was fasting. After 3 days, somebody gave her some chana. You know chana? Chickpeas. Chickpeas. Some chana and some milk. So she said, tonight let me just drink milk. I have not eaten for 3 days. So let me not eat chana on an empty stomach. Let me just offer this milk to Krishna. She was a devotee of Lord Vishnu. Let me offer this milk to Lord Vishnu. And then the chickpeas I will keep for tomorrow. Because if tomorrow I don't get anything, any alms, then at least I can offer the chickpeas tomorrow to Krishna. So she drank the milk and slept. She had a small kutir. When she got that donation of chickpeas and milk, chickpeas were given in a cloth bag. A thief saw that. And he saw her entering her kutir with a bag with some round objects inside. So he thought maybe there are gold coins. This budhiya, this old lady, must have collected gold coins through begging. So at night, let me go and steal them. Inside the kutir, the old lady offered the milk to Krishna, drank the milk and kept the chickpeas unoffered. And she slept. As she was sleeping, the thief broke into the kutir and stole the bag of chickpeas and started running. The old lady woke up and she raised an alarm. Catch him, thief, thief. He's stealing. Now this fellow thought, cloth bag, there are some objects inside, hard objects making noise, and the old lady is getting very excited that I am stealing. There must be gold. So he took off with that bag. And the old lady, she raised an alarm, catch him. In those days, the soldiers of the king used to patrol the streets. So they heard. And the old lady said, the thief ran that way, he took away my chickpeas. They are not offered to Krishna yet. He should not take them. They are Krishna's food for tomorrow. Catch him, bring him back. So the soldiers, they ran after this thief, but it was dark at night. They could not find him. But they were pursuing. And he went outside the village. This was happening in a village. And outside the village was the ashram of a sadhu, Sandipani Muni. And this thief ran and he thought, I'm going to get caught. So he threw the bag of chickpeas in front of the door of that hermitage of Sandipani Muni and ran into the forest and escaped. Back in the cottage, the soldiers could not find the thief, so they came and told the lady that sorry, we could not find him, he ran away. So she spoke a curse. She said, I curse this. He took away the chickpeas that were not offered because he wants to eat them without offering, because she was a Vaishnavi. She said, he's a thief, he's earning money by illicit means. I speak a curse that whoever eats those chickpeas will become very poor, will lose all his wealth and will be completely impoverished. Anybody who eats those chickpeas will be very poor. And she slept off. Next day morning, Sandipani Muni's wife opened the door and she found a bag of chickpeas at her doorstep. She thought, we are Brahmins, somebody must have come and given a donation. So she kept outside. Sandipani Muni is instructing Krishna and Sudama, you please go to the forest and get some dry sticks for fire. In those days they used to cook on fire and they never cut trees for firewood. They would get dry sticks or a dead tree wood from the forest. So go in the forest and get dry sticks. So Krishna and Sudama both were students of Sandipani Muni. They went. The wife of Sandipani Muni, their Guru Mata, called them, hey, come here, come here. You are going into the forest, you will be gone many hours, you may feel hungry. Here, take these chickpeas. Take these chickpeas and share them between both of you. So they kept and they went. We know the story. They went and then it was raining. It was raining and they were holding on to the firewood. They would not keep the firewood down. Our acharyas explain they did not keep the firewood down because it will get wet. So they were holding it and shielding it from the rain. So our acharyas explain, Srila Prabhupada teaches, what do we learn from this? That no matter how difficult it is, we should never drop the mission of Shri Guru. We should never drop the mission of Shri Guru. We should always hold on to the mission of Guru. That Guru had sent them to get firewood. So they had held on and they were both hungry. And what did Sudama do? Sudama ate all the chickpeas without sharing with Krishna. And he became poor. So our acharyas explained why did Sudama eat all those chickpeas. He said Sudama, the wife of Sandipani Muni, had told Sudama, take these chickpeas, both of you share, but they are not offered. Somebody else gave them at night. They are not offered, so make sure you offer it mentally. Offer it and eat. The Guru Ma had told Sudama. And Sudama, when he closed his eyes in meditation to offer those chickpeas, because he was a true Brahmana, through his Brahma Tej, he came to know that these are cursed chickpeas. They are not offerable. They are not offerable. But Guru Ma said eat. Guru Ma said eat, but in my meditation I came to know that these are cursed chickpeas. Anybody who eats will become poor. He said, how can I make my friend Krishna poor? Therefore I will eat. That is the reason why Sudama ate those chickpeas and ended up becoming. He took the curse upon himself. This is friendship. This is relationships. And do we think Krishna doesn't know this? Krishna knew all this. Therefore, when Sudama came years later, even though Sudama did not ask, give me some gift, Krishna himself, without telling him, gave him opulence greater than Lord Indra. This is relationships. Rupa Goswami says, what are the loving relationships between devotees? What is that verse? Dadati pratigrinati guiham akhyati praschati bhunkate bhojayate chaiva shadvidhir priti lakshanam. That we should give gifts to devotees, we should accept gifts from them. We should cook food for them and feed them, and when they cook for us, we should accept it. And we should confidentially reveal our mind to them, and when they reveal their mind to us confidentially, we should hear it and keep it confidential. Not go and tell, hey, you know what the devotee was saying? Being trustworthy is this. We have to be trustworthy. Trusting and trustworthy. So this is what we learn from Krishna Lila about relationships. Now let us come to Gaur Lila. In Kali Yuga, the Supreme Lord comes as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Gaur Mita. A very beautiful story where Maharaj Pratap Rudra is the king of Jagannath Puri. He is the king of Odisha. And he desperately wants to get darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is refusing to see him because he is a king. Many times he tries, through Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, through Kashi Mishra, but every time Mahaprabhu says, no, I will not meet the king. I am a sannyasi. how can I meet the king? I have to follow some strict standards. I will not associate with the king. Finally, Mahaprabhu, when he went on the South Indian tour, he met Ramananda Rai on the banks of Godavari. And he told Ramananda Rai, you are the governor of Madras. You give up your job as a governor and you come and stay with me in Jagannath Puri. You resign and you come and stay with me in Jagannath Puri. And Ramananda Rai said, all right. So Ramananda Rai came to the king, Maharaj Prataprudra, and said, I want to resign. Why? Because Mahaprabhu has told me I should be with him all the time, 24 hours a day. So I want to just be with Mahaprabhu and I want to resign from your job. Maharaj Prataprudra himself wants darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he is not getting. And Maharaj Prataprudра's servant, Ramananda Rai, is getting that good fortune. So does Maharaj Prataprudra get envious? I am not getting association of Mahaprabhu, I will make sure you also don't get. No, I will not relieve you from your job. No. Maharaj Prataprudra was so non-envious that he immediately relieved Ramananda Rai. No 7-day termination notice, nothing. Immediately relieved him and said, I will give you your full salary as your lifelong pension, so you don't have to worry about money. You can wholeheartedly, without any anxiety, serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Actually, I want to serve Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but I am not getting this good fortune. You are getting it, so I am very happy for you. This is called non-enviousness, isn't it? Non-enviousness. He was not getting, but he is happy that Maharaj Prataprudra, he is happy that Ramananda Rai is getting.
There's a Jeep RR225 alarm is going on.
Yes. Yes, your alarm is going on. Hare Krishna. So Maharaj Prataprudra, he gave full pension to Ramananda Rai. And when Ramananda Rai met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he started glorifying the king. He said, Maharaj Prataprudra is such a great king. He relieved me, gave me my full pension as my salary for whole life. My whole salary as my pension. And he is very devoted to you. Mahaprabhu, if you so desire, please give your mercy to Maharaj Prataprudra. So Ramananda Rai put in a recommendation for Maharaj Prataprudra. And then Maharaj Prataprudra, he got the full mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So this is how devotees are there. And when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu finally gave mercy to Maharaj Prataprudra, what happens is very wonderful. So all the devotees, they wanted Mahaprabhu's embrace, correct? But not everybody got it. A few great devotees got Mahaprabhu's embrace. But when Maharaj Prataprudra was massaging the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and singing the Gopi Geet, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very happy with him and he embraced him. Mahaprabhu said, so Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes, Tava kathamrita shloka raja ye padhila, uthi prema veshe prabhu alingana kaila. As Maharaj Prataprudra chanted the Gopi Geet verse, Tava kathamritam, let's chant for Mahaprabhu's pleasure. Tava kathamritam tapta jivanam kavibhiriditam kalmashapaham shravana mangalam shrimadatatam bhuvi grinanti ye bhurita jana. As Maharaj Prataprudra chanted this verse, Tava katham ritam shloka raja ye padhila, uthi prema veshe prabhu alingana kaila. In prema vesh, with great love, Mahaprabhu got up and he embraced this king. King was in a dress of a Vaishnava. Because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya said, don't go in the dress of king, go in the dress of a Vaishnava. What is the dress of a Vaishnava? Dhoti chadar. Dhoti chadar. Like our Chitravirya Prabhu, exactly like that. Dhoti and chadar. Chitravirya Prabhu ki. This is the importance of Vaishnava attire. Not red kurta like me, trying to look cool. No, simple dhoti and chadar. Maharaj Prataprudra was wearing dhoti and chadar and massaging the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu got up and embraced him with love. Uthi prema veshe prabhu alingana kaila. प्रभु को है की तुम्ही कोयला मोराही अचंबित आशी प्याय वो कृष्ण रसामृत. Mahaprabhu asked Maharaj Prataprutra, who are you? Prabhu bole ki tumi. Who are you? Koila mora hit. You have benefited me so much. Achambita ashik pyayabo Krishna Rasamrit. From nowhere you just came and you made me drink Krishna Rasamrit. Who are you? Now what does Maharaj Prataprutra say? Who am I? I am the king. I am the Chakravarti Samrat of Odisha. I am keeping you safe from Nawab Hussain Shah. I am the powerful king Maharaj Prataprutra. Does he say that?
No.
I am a great devotee. I know Gopi Git by heart. How many of us know Gopi Git by heart? Maharaj Prataprutra did not say, I know Gopi Git by heart, I am a great Vaishnava. What did Maharaj Prataprutra say? Prabhu, Raja ko hai ami tomar daser anudas, bhrittera bhritya koro ei mora ash. Maharaj Prataprutra spontaneously replied, very truthfully. Naham vipro nachanarapati. I am not king, I am nothing. Raja ko hai ami tomar daser anudas. I am not even your servant. I am the servant of your servant. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya is your servant. I am his servant. Ramananda Rai is your servant. I am his servant. Raja ko hai ami tomar daser anudas. Bhrityara bhritya koro ei morash. My only desire is that you accept me as the servant of your servant. Constitutionally, I am the servant of your servant, but you are not accepting me. Raja ko hai ami tomar daser anudas. I am your daser anudas, but you are not accepting me. इसीलिए that's why bhrityara bhritya karo ei morash. Please accept me. Mahaprabhu embraced him, and then what was the reaction of the devotees? This is very important. We are talking about devotee relationships. So Maharaj Prataprutra is getting full mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed him his Swarup as Supreme Lord Narayana and embraced him, gave him love of Godhead, Krishna Prem. What was the reaction of the devotees? Prataprutrera bhagya dekhi bhaktagan Raja re prashamsa kare ananditaman. When they saw Maharaj Prataprutra getting this mercy from Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they started glorifying Maharaj Prataprutra with a very happy heart. Which means all the devotees of Mahaprabhu are completely non-envious. They are parasukha sukhi and paradukha dukhi. When others are happy, they are happy. When others are sad, they are also heartbroken. Another example is when Srila Sanatana Goswami came to Jagannath Puri. Nobody wanted Sanatana Goswami with them. Why? Because Sanatana Goswami had a very severe skin disease. He had ulcers all over his body. They were very itchy, and they were oozing pus and blood. Srila Sanatana Goswami, yes, Srila Sanatana Goswami. Very itchy, rash all over his body with pus and blood. Also, Sanatana Goswami was considered to be of a lower caste because he had served the meat eaters, mlechas, in the past. So the orthodox Hindus did not want Sanatana Goswami with them. So who gave shelter to Srila Sanatana Goswami? Srila Haridas Thakur. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. At Siddhavakul, for 10 months, Sanatana Goswami lived with Haridas Thakur. Every day, Mahaprabhu would come. And what would Mahaprabhu do? Tightly embrace Haridas Thakur. And then Sanatana Goswami used to hide because his body was covered with ulcers. He did not want Mahaprabhu to embrace him. Mahaprabhu would find him, run after him, forcefully catch him and embrace him with love. Every single day Mahaprabhu would embrace Sanatana Goswami, and on Mahaprabhu's transcendental body, see, we keep Mahaprabhu so nicely, with so much love, nice decoration, nice shringar. We bathe him with Panchamrit. Isn't it, Chitrabhire Prabhu? Our pujaris are taking such wonderful care of Mahaprabhu. We don't even want to see a speck of dust on Mahaprabhu. And here, when Mahaprabhu is embracing Sanatana Goswami, pus and blood is coming upon his body. Pus and blood is coming upon his body. Very painful. Sanatana Goswami said, I better end my life. Because every day I am the cause of putting pus and blood on Mahaprabhu's beautiful body. I am doing such a disservice. I came to Jagannath Puri to take darshan of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and serve him. And also to take darshan of Jagannath. I cannot enter the temple of Jagannath because I am considered to be of a non-Hindu caste. Because I served the meat eaters. So I cannot enter the temple. So if we cannot enter the temple of Jagannath, don't feel bad. Even Sanatana Goswami could not enter. Even Rupa Goswami could not enter. Even Haridas Thakur could not enter. Jagannath is giving Vipralambha, love in separation. Sanatana Goswami said, I cannot take darshan of Jagannath, I cannot enter the temple. And when I meet Mahaprabhu, he does this. Forcefully, he embraces me. And it's such an aparad. Better I end my life. Now Rath Yatra is coming. I will take darshan of Jagannath one last time. And I will throw myself in front of the wheel of Jagannath's Rath. And I will end my life. He decided. Did not tell it to anybody. Kept it secret in his heart. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Antaryami. He is in everyone's heart. He knows all our thoughts. Next day when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought the Upala Bhog offering from Jagannath to Siddha Bakul, he gave Haridas Thakur and Sanatana Goswami, spoke to them. And suddenly out of the blue he looked at Sanatana. And he said, Sanatana, you want to give up your life, huh? You want to commit suicide? Mahaprabhu said, it is a great sin to commit suicide. Nobody should commit suicide. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. So it is not by committing suicide that our problems end. If we commit suicide in our next life, we will get the same problems. It is not by committing suicide that we can put an end to our problems. It is by doing bhajan. Mahaprabhu says, it is by doing bhajan that we can get Krishna, and getting Krishna means end of all problems. Bhajanera madhya shreshta navavidha bhakti Krishna prema Krishna dite dhare maha shakti. That's what Mahaprabhu says this verse. And what is bhajan? Bhajan is this navavidha bhakti. Shravanam kirtanam vishnu smaranam pada sevanam archanam vandanam dasyam sakhyam atma nivedanam. Hearing and chanting about Krishna, worshipping Krishna, remembering Krishna. These are all different limbs of bhakti. And out of these 9 limbs of bhakti, Tara madhya sarva shrestha nama sankirtan nirapradhe nama lele pave premadhan. Out of these 9 limbs of bhakti, what is the most powerful? Tara madhya sarva shrestha nama sankirtan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Nirapradha nama lele pave premadhan. If without committing offenses we chant the holy name, we will get Krishna prema. Very good. So Mahaprabhu says, do Nam Bhajan. Don't think about committing suicide, please. And then Mahaprabhu says, if by committing suicide one could attain Krishna, I would have committed suicide millions of times. Mahaprabhu says. But it is not by committing suicide that one can get Krishna. Please. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu looks at Haridas Thakur. Now please listen carefully. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is chastising Sanatana Goswami. And then he looks at Haridas Thakur and says, Haridas, look at this Sanatana. He wants to commit suicide. Mahaprabhu says, Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpan, sei kale prabhu kare tare atma sam. Mahaprabhu says, Sanatana Goswami took Diksha from me. He is my initiated disciple. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpan. At the time of Diksha, the disciple gives himself to the Guru. Diksha kale bhakta kare atma samarpan, sei kale prabhu kare tare atma sam. At that time, Shri Guru and Krishna accept that devotee as their very own. Okay? So he has taken Diksha from me. He has offered his body, mind, activities, words to me. So his body belongs to me. And this Sanatan, he wants to commit suicide. Atma Hatya. Haridas, can you chastise him? Chastise this Sanatan. He took Diksha from me, which means he offered his body to me, and now he wants to kill that body. That body doesn't belong to him, it belongs to me. Scold him. We are talking about devotee relationships. Bhagwan, Supreme Lord, is telling Haridas Thakur, chastise this Sanatan. Chastise this Sanatan. What does Haridas Thakur do? He chastises Mahaprabhu. He says, Mahaprabhu, what is Sanatana Goswami's fault? Did you ever tell him that his body belongs to you? Did you ever tell him that you want to use his body in your service? You never told him. How are we supposed to understand what is your intention? Very difficult to understand your intention. You are the Supreme Bhagwan. You should tell us. It is not Sanatana's fault, it is your fault. Haridas Thakur says. Because Mahaprabhu says, I want to do so much through Sanatana's body. My mother has told me to stay in Jagannath Puri. I want to go to Vrindavan, but I cannot go because my mother told me to stay in Jagannath Puri. Krishna prema, Krishna bhakti, seva pravartan, lupta tirtha uddhara or vairagya shikshan. These are the different things I want to do in Vrindavan, but I cannot do because I cannot go there. I want to find the lost holy places. I want to build temples. I want to write books and literature. But I cannot do that because I have to stay in Jagannath Puri. All this work I am going to do through these two brothers, Rup and Sanatan. And Sanatan wants to kill himself. So Haridas Thakur says, you should have told this to Sanatan Goswami before, that this is your plan for him. How are we to understand? It is not Sanatan's fault, it is your fault, Mahaprabhu. You should tell him properly. So Mahaprabhu is okay. It is my fault. But Sanatan, don't end your life. I have a great mission for you. And Mahaprabhu leaves. Now see the sweet interactions between Haridas Thakur and Sanatan Goswami. Mahaprabhu leaves. Sanatan Goswami is very depressed because of the skin disease, because Mahaprabhu keeps embracing him. He is just very sad. And now Mahaprabhu is saying, you leave Jagannath Puri, go to Vrindavan. Sanatan Goswami did not want to leave Mahaprabhu, but Mahaprabhu said, now go to Vrindavan. So Sanatan Goswami was feeling very sad, very depressed. What did Srila Haridas Thakur say? He held Sanatan Goswami and he said, Prabhu kahe tomar deha mora nij dhan, toma sama bhagyavan nahi kona jan. Hari Bol! Haridas Thakur tells Sanatan Goswami, don't be depressed. What did Prabhu say? Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just said, Prabhu ko hai tomar deha mora nij dhan, toma sama bhagyavan nahi kona jan. Your body is Mahaprabhu's property. Mahaprabhu said, how fortunate are you, Sanatan? You are very fortunate. There is nobody as fortunate as you. Then Haridas Thakur looks at himself and says, Amar deha prabhura karye na lagila, Bharat bhumi janma hoila deha vyartha gaila. But Mahaprabhu never said that my body belongs to him. Therefore, and Mahaprabhu wants to do so many things through you, writing books, building temples in Vrindavan, establishing the behavior of a renounced sannyasi. So many things Mahaprabhu wants to teach through you. But Mahaprabhu never said he wants to teach anything through me. Haridas Thakur is saying, Amacharya. So he says, Amar deha prabhura karye na lagila. My body was never used in the service of Mahaprabhu. Therefore, even though I was born in India, my life is waste. Haridas Thakur says, Vyartha deha gaila. So Haridas Thakur is encouraging Sanatan Goswami and he is saying, I am useless. Humble. Now whose turn is it to speak? Now let's see what Sanatan Goswami says. Sanatan Goswami says, Sanatana kahe toma sava kevan, Mahaprabhu gana tumi mahabhagyavan. Sanatan Goswami tells Haridas Thakur that who is fortunate like you? Sanatana kohe toma sama keva achehan. Who can be like you? Mahaprabhu gana tumi mahabhagyavan. Mahaprabhu comes to Navadvip, you are with Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu says, preach to Jagai Madai. Who preaches? You. You and Nitai. You are Mahaprabhu's preachers. Mahaprabhu comes to Jagannath Puri. Who comes with Mahaprabhu? You. You are always with Mahaprabhu. You never leave Mahaprabhu. Every day you are with Mahaprabhu in Jagannath Puri. You are Mahaprabhu's God. You are Mahaprabhu's parshad. You are Mahaprabhu's associate. Whereas I am outsider. I came, I lived for a few months, now I am going back. But you are the one who lives with Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu Ganatuni Mahabhagyavan. You are the most fortunate. Apane acharya keha na kare prachar. You said that you could not do any service for Mahaprabhu. Huh? You are saying you could not do any service for Mahaprabhu? Sanatan Goswami says, Apane acharya keha na kare prachar, prachar kare na keha na kare achar. There are some people, acharya kare na keha na kare prachar. Some people have very good sadhana. They will wake up in Brahma Muhurta, they will chant, they will read Prabhupada's books. They have very good sadhana. They are very good devotees. They have good acharan. They have Vaishnava etiquettes, everything. What is the problem? They don't preach. They are bhajanabandis. They don't preach. Srila Sanatan Goswami is saying, Apane acharya keha na kare prachar. Some have good acharan, but they don't do prachar. They don't preach. And some, prachara kare na keha na kare achar. They like to preach. They like to sit on the Vyasasana and give katha. But they don't have good character. They don't have good sadhana. But they are preaching. Prachara karena keha na kare achar. This is the problem in this world. Some want to preach but don't have good sadhana. Some have good sadhana but they don't preach. They should be preaching but they don't preach. Apane acharya keha na kare prachar, prachara karena keha na kare achar. Achar prachara namer kara tui karya. Tumi jagat guru, tumi jagatera arya. Srila Sanatana Goswami says, but you Haridas Thakur, achara prachara namer karah dui karya. As far as holy name is concerned, you do both. Achar and prachar. Practice and preach. You do both. Therefore, you are Jagat Guru, Jagatera Arya. And I say that Haridas Thakur, you are the number one devotee in the whole world. Jagatera Arya. So this, my dear friends, these type of interactions, this is what is required. We have to be trusting, trustworthy, we have to be caring, and we have to be considerate. We should always remember what our friends have done for us. Lord Ramchandra, he killed Vali. Vali who could not be killed. He just could not be killed. Lord Ramchandra killed Vali and gave the kingdom back to Sugriv, gave his wife back to him. And what did Sugriv do during this Chaturmas, 4 months period? He just got his wife back, he just got his kingdom back. He got involved with wine and women. He forgot about his promise to Lord Ramchandra. The rainy season came and went, and he's enjoying wine and women. Forgot his promise. This is not friendship. Sugriv is teaching us through his mistake. But of course, seeing Lakshman's bow, he came back to his senses. And then he was a true friend. But we have to be considerate. Whatever devotees have done for us, we should always remember and be grateful for that. I will conclude by telling one incidents from the life of Srila Prabhupada. Please listen carefully. Srila Prabhupada came to America in which ship? Jaladuta. In which year? 1965. Srila Prabhupada came on Jaladuta. And then Srila Prabhupada, and what happened to Jaladuta after that? It went back to India. It was an Indian ship. Scindia steamship. It went back to India. Do you know who went on that ship? Prabhupada landed, and when Jaladuta left, who went on that ship? There were 2 American boys. Keith and Howard. Kirtanananda and Hayagriva. Haribo. True story. They wanted to explore India. So they got on that ship and they went to India to explore. They wanted to find a guru. They were young boys, American boys. They went to India to get a guru. And what did they get? Malaria and typhoid. They suffered miserable health for several months. And then they got on a flight, not Jaladuta, they got on a flight and they flew back to New York.
They went on that ship? Jaladuta?
Yes, isn't it incredible? Nobody knows this.
I didn't know.
Yeah. They went on the same ship that Srila Prabhupada came to find a guru, and they could not find.
But Prabhupada didn't even start the movement yet.
Exactly.
He just didn't even arrive there. He just arrived.
He just arrived. They did not know anything. They were Keith and Howard, and they got on that ship to go to India because they didn't have so much money to find a guru, and they did not find a guru. They came back to New York. And they came back, and one evening, Howard is walking on the streets of Lower East Side, Manhattan, and he sees a Swami. He says, hey, I saw many such Swamis in India, wearing saffron robes. What is the Swami doing here in Manhattan? So he crosses the street, runs across, goes to the Swami, and introduces himself. I am Howard. I went to India a few months ago, and I spent several months there trying to find God, but I could not find God. Trying to find Guru, but I could not find a Guru. Finally, I got frustrated, I came back. Prabhupada said, well, I have got a little loft here, and Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the evening, I am conducting Bhagavad Gita classes. You can come, and you can bring your friends also. Howard promised, I will come. And he took his friend Keith with him. And they were the first boys to attend Srila Prabhupada's lectures in New York. So what happened? Prabhupada came, he went to Butler, Pennsylvania to live with Sally and Gopal Agarwal. He stayed for a few months in the YMCA. Then he left Butler, Pennsylvania, and he came to New York. By this time, Howard and Keith also returned to New York. And they meet. Just see the coincidence. They meet. And Howard and Keith become disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Kirtanananda and Hayagriva. And what is Howard? Hayagriva, by profession, he is an English professor. And Srila Prabhupada's mission is to write books. So Srila Prabhupada wanted an English editor who would make Prabhupada's books look very nice. Edit them nicely, make them very nice, first class. So Prabhupada told Howard, Hayagriva, can you edit my books? I am working on the second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Our second canto of Srimad Bhagavatam is edited by Hayagriva Prabhu. So Prabhupada gave him big stacks of paper. He said, here, take them. This is the manuscript. Edit them. correct any grammatical mistakes, make it nice. He said, okay. And he started working full time for Srila Prabhupada as Prabhupada's first editor. This is before Jayadvaita Brahmachari and Tamal Krishna Goswami and all others joined. This was much before that. Before Nanda Kumar Prabhu, before Pradyumna Prabhu, way before that. Hayagriv Prabhu was the first editor of Srila Prabhupada in New York. He served Srila Prabhupada so intimately. Day and night he used to be with Prabhupada. He gave up all his bad habits, breaking all the 4 regulative principles, gave it up, started chanting 16 rounds, became a disciple. And Srila Prabhupada's preaching started growing, more and more boys and girls came. Then Srila Prabhupada went to San Francisco. There Shamsundar Prabhu, Tamal Krishna Goswami, all these great devotees came. Srila Jayapataka Swami Maharaj came. Prabhupada went to Montreal. And soon Prabhupada had this International Society for Krishna Consciousness. He became a Jagat Guru, became a Jet Age Parivrajakacharya. He had thousands and thousands of disciples and followers. And he could no longer spend the time that he was spending with his disciples. And Hayagriv used to feel that separation from Prabhupada. Gone are those days when I would sit with Prabhupada in his room and would talk for hours and Prabhupada would, explain the philosophy to me, be there for me. And being away from Prabhupada, being away from association, somehow the old habits, they came back to haunt Hayagriv Prabhu. And he was really struggling with the regulative principles. But Hayagriv Prabhu had one very good quality. Would you like to know? He never criticized Vaishnavas. He never criticized Vaishnavas. See, sometimes if we struggle with the 4 regulative principles, or we struggle with our anarthas, and we make mistakes, we fall down, it should make us humble. It should make us humble. And it really made Hayagriv humble. Very humble. He saw that others are practicing very nicely, but I am a fallen soul. I am not able to do it. So he always appreciated others, never criticized anybody. At the same time, he did not feel himself confident or qualified to lead the movement. Hayagriv Prabhu, Srila Prabhupada wanted him to take sannyas. So Srila Prabhupada sent a word that come and meet me in New Vrindavan. Once Prabhupada was in New Vrindavan, it was Hayagriv Prabhu who saw the article in the newspaper, the advertisement for New Vrindavan land. 99 acres of land for lease initially. And it was Hayagriv who went and acquired that land. The New Vrindavan land is because of Hayagriv Prabhu. So now Hayagriv Prabhu is going away from devotee association. He is not coming because he is very ashamed that he is not able to follow the regulative principles. But Prabhupada would always remember him, what he has done. And now Prabhupada has so many editors with him, so many scholars, but Prabhupada always remembered, where is my Hayagriv? Where is my Hayagriv? And one day Srila Prabhupada told Jayadvaita Brahmachari and other devotees that all of you are alright, but my favorite editor is Hayagriv Prabhu. I miss my Hayagriv. Where is he? Call him. But devotees could not find him. He had left. One day they found him and Prabhupada said, the only way to bring you back is to engage you in service. I want you to take sannyas and travel with me and preach. Take sannyas. And Hayagriv said, sannyas? Prabhupada, you said sannyas means you should not even think of sense gratification. How can I take sannyas? He was thinking like this. So Prabhupada called him in New Vrindavan. Come and meet me in New Vrindavan. So the devotees told Hayagriv Prabhu, Prabhupada is calling you to New Vrindavan. He wants to talk to you. Hayagriv Prabhu knew exactly what Srila Prabhupada is going to tell. Take sannyas. He didn't want to take sannyas. So he prepared a list of arguments why he should not take sannyas. He wrote it on a piece of paper, put it in his pocket, and came to meet Prabhupada in New Vrindavan. He sits, offers obeisance to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada is sitting, and he says, yes, Prabhupada, you called for me. Prabhupada looks at him and says, Hayagriv, I want you to take sannyas. And Hayagriv Prabhu was ready with his arguments. He was ready. He said, Prabhupada, I have got so many material desires. I cannot be sannyasi. Prabhupada said, alright, you chant Hare Krishna, all your material desires will go away. But take sannyas. Prabhupada, but you said a sannyasi should not even think of sense gratification. I am always thinking of sense. It's okay, you chant Hare Krishna and all those bad thoughts will go away. Like that, Prabhupada was cutting all his arguments. He said, no, but Prabhupada, I just cannot do it. I am not qualified. I am not prepared. I will be a hypocrite if I took sannyas. Prabhupada said, alright, then become the temple president of New Vrindavan. He said, okay, yes, I will do. Anything but sannyas. And immediately he accepted, and Hayagriv Prabhu became the 1970 he became the temple president. This was before Kuladri Prabhu and others who became temple president. It was Hayagriv Prabhu who was the temple president of New Vrindavan. But he did not take sannyas. Then as time went on, Prabhupada became even more busy traveling, managing this worldwide organization, 108 temples, thousands of disciples. Hayagiri Prabhu fell more and more in Maya. And finally, he left Krishna consciousness. He left ISKCON. And even in 1977, Srila Prabhupada left this world. Prabhupada was remembering Hayagiri. And Prabhupada wrote a letter to... Prabhupada had no address for Hayagiri Prabhu. But Prabhupada wrote a letter to Hayagiri. That, my dear Hayagiri, first time when I took my American disciples to Vrindavan Dham, you were with me. You were with me, and I saw one day you were chanting in Vrindavan very sincerely. I took you to Rupa Goswami Samadhi Mandir, and you chanted very sincerely. For that one sincere chanting, I promise you, you will go back to Godhead in this lifetime. There is a letter of Srila Prabhupada. Hayagiri had left ISKCON, there was no address for him, but Prabhupada dictated that letter. That Hayagiri, you will go back to Godhead in this lifetime because you have served. Srila Prabhupada left this world. And in 1980s, Srinathji Prabhu, a devotee, very rich devotee from Bombay, industrialist. You know Srinathji Prabhu? He was taking a walk on a beach in Goa. And you know how they keep ships, boats upturned to prevent rainwater from accumulating? They had kept some boats upturned on the beach. And he saw somebody sleeping under the boat. So Srinathji Prabhu looked underneath and he saw Hayagiri Prabhu. Hayagiri Prabhu had gone to Goa to enjoy on the beach. This is early 1980s. So he, Hayagiri Prabhu, that's you. What are you doing here in Goa? So he pulled out Hayagiri Prabhu. He said, careful, careful, my back is hurting. And his back was hurting. There was some problem with him. So Srinathji Prabhu got him on a flight. He had finished all his money. His health had deteriorated in Goa. He didn't know what to do. He was lying on the beach helpless. A devotee, Srinathji Prabhu, finds him, puts him on a flight because he is an American citizen. He has insurance here. Sends him back to America. He comes to New Vrindavan, goes to a doctor, gets a CT scan and tests, and they find he has got stage 4 cancer. It has gone everywhere, especially in his spine, and he had paraplegia. He had paralysis of both his legs. Waist down, Hayagiri Prabhu was paralyzed. The cancer was killing him. He had less than 6 months to live. Hayagiri Prabhu retired to New Vrindavan. He said, now I will not leave New Vrindavan. Prabhupada came here, this is Dham. Prabhupada said, this is not different from Vrindavan. Now I will not leave New Vrindavan. He went to New Vrindavan, to Radha Vrindavan Chandra. And he said, every day I will chant 64 rounds now. Because when Srila Prabhupada gave the first, it's in Prabhupada Lilamrit. When Prabhupada gave the first initiation, Prabhupada said, so from today you chant all 64 rounds. It is there in Prabhupada Lilamrit. And Hayagiri Prabhu writes this in his book, Hare Krishna Explosion. You can type the Hare Krishna Explosion PDF on Google. There's a free PDF of Hayagiri Prabhu's beautiful book. You will come to know the caliber of Hayagiri Prabhu. The Hare Krishna Explosion. Hayagiri Prabhu writes, Prabhupada said 64 rounds. And Hayagiri Prabhu told Prabhupada, 64 rounds, it will take 5 to 6 hours at least, even if we chant fast. We don't have so much time. We have to build temples, we have to edit your books, we have to distribute back to Bharat magazine. Where is the time? Prabhupada said, alright, 32 rounds. Prabhupada, that is also too much. We don't have so much time. Please reduce. Prabhupada, alright, 16 rounds minimum, but no less. That was Hayagiri Prabhu. So Hayagiri Prabhu said, Prabhupada, that time I had so many services, I could not fulfill your order, but now all I have is time. From today, I will chant 64 rounds. And Hayagiri Prabhu told Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj that it was Prabhupada's desire that I should take sannyas. Will you give me sannyas on behalf of Srila Prabhupada? Please. And Maharaj said, as a servant, as your servant, as a service to you, I will. And in New Vrindavan, Hayagiri Prabhu received sannyas diksha. He could not even sit in the yajna because he was paralyzed. He was lying in the bed. So Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj took the sannyas danda to him and gave him in the bed. This is your sannyas danda. Now I will quote what I heard from Srila Radhanath Swami Maharaj. Maharaj said, in my life I have seen many great devotees. I have seen pure devotees also. But I have never seen the eyes that I saw that day. When Hayagiri Prabhu saw the sannyas danda, it was as if Srila Prabhupada had come back. He saw Srila Prabhupada in that saffron cloth clad sannyas danda. He looked at the danda, he grabbed the danda and said, Prabhupada, Prabhupada, you wanted to give me sannyas, but I had refused. I had so many material desires. But Prabhupada, honestly, now I have no material desires. Anyway, with this body I cannot enjoy now. I have no material desires. Prabhupada, I have taken sannyas. Prabhupada, I have taken sannyas just to please you. Are you happy, Prabhupada? And he was bathing that sannyas with his tears. He was crying. For the rest of his days, Hayagriva Prabhu lived in New Vrindavan. And all day he would chant. Even when little bit prasad he would take, he would request some devotees, please come sit here and read the Krishna book to me. Constantly he was hearing Prabhupada's tapes, Prabhupada's lectures, hearing devotees read from Prabhupada's books and chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, day and night. And in this consciousness, Hayagriva Prabhu left from this world. In New Vrindavan Dham, surrounded by devotees chanting Hare Ram. Srila Prabhupada's 1977 letter came true. This is the power of the prayer of a pure devotee, my dear friends. Prabhupada always wanted to encourage devotees because our relationships are based on encouraging each other to serve Krishna more and more. I will conclude with one last point. Srila Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj. In 1975, Srila Prabhupada went to Mayapur and it was the first GBC meeting. The GBC was just formed and the first annual GBC meeting was either 1975 or 1976, one of those 2 years. First GBC meetings. Prabhupada said, all my disciples should come to Mayapur. Prabhupada said. So Ghanasham Prabhu, that is Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, he was a book distributor in North America. He had his van and he would do book distribution from university to university. This was an idea given to him by Satsvarup Das Goswami and Hridayananda Maharaj. They said, if you want to distribute books in colleges, go to Northeast, go to Boston. That is the Navadvip of America. Hayagriva Prabhu said, all the universities are there, all the Ivy Leagues are there in Northeast. Go and do college preaching there. So Hayagriva Prabhu, so Ghanasham Prabhu, that is Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, and Mahabudhi Prabhu, another Prabhupada disciple. They had a van and they had all Prabhupada's books. They called it Bhakti Vedanta Library Traveling Party. And they would go to all this Harvard University, Yale University, Brown University. And what they would do, they would distribute to them all Prabhupada's books. And they would say, Prabhupada is translating full Bhagavatam, full Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's not ready yet. But you give a standing order. You give us the check and whenever it is published, we will deliver it to you. That was called advanced payment. Advanced orders. Standing orders of Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada library. And they would do this in all the universities and colleges. And Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj was very austere, my dear friends. He chanted in Gita Nakri during his last days. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj himself revealed, since the day I got initiation from Srila Prabhupada, not one day has passed when I have chanted less than 40 rounds. Not one day. He would sleep for not more than 2 hours. He would eat one meal in a day of dry fruits, yogurt. That's all. In that bus, there was no kitchen. Very austere. And slowly he had a group of brahmacharis distributing books with him. Very austere, Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. He said, before I go on distributing Prabhupada's books, at least 2 hours I should read Prabhupada's books. So he would stand with a flashlight. If he sat down, he would fall sleeping. So he would stand with a flashlight and he would read Prabhupada's books for 2 hours. He would chant his 16 rounds before Mangal Aarti. Then he would do the full morning program. Chant another set of rounds after that. And then 9 o'clock when the university opened, he would go and distribute books there. The devotees working under him were feeling the pressure. This is too much austere life. Sleeping for 2 hours, one meal in a day, we cannot do it. So in the GBC meeting, they had planned to complain about Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj to Srila Prabhupada. That he is too austere for us, he is too intense for us, we quit. We quit. And Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj did not know about this. So he goes there for the GBC meetings and Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj pulls him to the side and says, Ghansham Prabhu, do you know there is going to be a complaint about you to Prabhupada that you are too intense, you are too austere, man. This is not, the devotees cannot handle it. The brahmacharis cannot handle it. You need to give them a break. Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj says, that was the most transformational moment in my life when Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj told me that. He said, I was thinking I am serving Srila Prabhupada, but little did I notice that I was being too hard on the devotees who are working under me. Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj said, that day in Navadvip Dham I took a vow that I will be strict with myself, but I will be liberal with others. So personally Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj, a strict brahmachari, 40 rounds every day, 2 hours of sleep, 1 meal in a day, very powerful preacher. But for others, he was most liberal, accommodating and caring. Anybody could go to Srila Bhakti Tirtha Swami Maharaj. Anyone. No matter what they were doing. Any devotee could go to Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. He was most accommodating. And he said, I learned this lesson because I came to know that I am being very hard on the devotees, very harsh on the devotees. Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada says, is about encouraging devotees, not discouraging. I was discouraging them. We need to encourage each other, my dear friends. That is Bhakti. So let us be together. Let us be strict with ourselves, but lenient with others. Conservative with ourselves, but liberal with others. That is the sutra that Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. Many times in our relationships, what happens? We hold others to very high standards. Hey, you lied to me. Hey, you did this to me. And we hold them. Now, what about ourselves? When we make those mistakes, we forgive ourselves. But others we don't forgive. Srila Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj is teaching us we have to be liberal with others, but strict with ourselves. Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Nitai Gaur Premanandi. Hare. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.